Hey guys, just hadn't made a video in a while and thought I would update you on some stuff so that you have stuff to look at on my page. I'm here in Alabama with Oliver this spring break. I've been occupied. This is my last semester of grad school and I am officially not moving on, which means that I must write a resume and engage in job searching and decide if I'm going to stay in Charlotte, etc. So it's been kind of stressful, right? We're a little stressed. But I wanted to make a video, so just an update. I guess the biggest thing that I've been up to that I kind of want to talk about is I've been doing a lot of archery, and this, I don't think I said anything about this last year when I actually started, but last December I bought myself a bow because when I was a kid I had this sort of really horrific series of experiences at sleepaway summer camps, because when you are a fat, awkward 6th grader, sleepaway camp is pretty much the worst thing that can happen to you as an upper middle class white prep school kid. But it's still pretty horrific and traumatizing, and there will be oodles of therapy to make up for these kinds of experiences. So anyway, my parents sent me to sleepaway camp, and it was terrible. Like water skiing camp, where like, I don't know like in what universe that was a good idea, because there's like, right, like everybody's like discovering their bodies and stuff, and like now the girls are all wearing makeup, and like I can't even fit into the swim shorts or whatever, and kids made fun of me and it was horrible. And on top of everything, I'm like a crappy swimmer, and I can't get up with the, I don't know, it was just terrible. But they did have an archery range, so I would escape to the archery range every day because archery was a thing that I could do without having to change my clothes in front of anybody, or without having to run, or any of the other kind of crap that gets you made fun of when you're a 6th grade fat kid. So I got really into archery, and when I got back from sleepaway camp, one of which incidentally I was thrown out of for behavioral problems, my parents let me sign up for like an archery kids class at the base, and I did that for a little while, but I was never allowed to have my own bow because my parents were pretty strict about stuff like that, and I just couldn't have weapons of any sort. And I had this realization last year that I'm a grown-ass woman, and if I want a weapon, it is my God-given right as an American in the South to own as many weapons as I want. So I bought a bow, and I had some arrows made, and I strapped them in a quiver on my back, and I sort of slunk off into the construction zone behind my house and practiced when nobody was around. And that's been pretty spectacular. And one of my goals, because that's less lame than saying resolutions, right? One of my goals for the new year was to join an archery club, and I actually have ended up joining 2. I'm a member of the archery group on campus, which is pretty cool, because I get to wander around school with a weapon strapped to my back. Makes me feel cool. And then I also recently joined a traditional archers group, which is awesome. I have no interest whatsoever in compound shooting or in Olympic style, like recurve archery or whatever, like no interest. I am like, I don't know, I'd probably be a lot more comfortable like LARPing than watching the Olympics with my bow. So anyway, that's been a blast, and it's gotten me outside. It's made me reconsider some things about, I don't know, there's no way to say stuff like this without sounding lame, but whatever. It's made me reconsider some of my relationships with like the environment around me. I'm considering things like, well, what if I actually learned how to hunt? What would that look like? How would I go about doing such a thing? Why or why wouldn't I to begin with? I've been posing interesting questions to myself. And anyway, of course, like being pagan, being my particular brand of pagan, some of the deities that I have relationships with are gods of hunting, gods of the hunt, and Practicing archery has given me a new way of building on those relationships and reconsidering aspects of those relationships. It's been really cool. Corvus, who you saw in my unfortunate haircutting video, is currently doing a personal project with Hearn, and she came with me to a shoot a week ago. She'd never done archery before, and she thought that this might be an interesting way to sort of like stick a toe in the water as far as like what might the experience of hunting be like. And this traditional group that we were hanging out with, it was awesome, right? It's all these old, like, southern kind of mountain men type guys who, you know, they've been shooting since they were kids, and they're all hunters, and they had 3D animal targets arranged all through the woods and trails, and it was a little bit like frisbee golf or something with arrows. And they had aerial shooting, and it was just a blast. And I learned a lot. Corvus had a really good time, and I think it's even something that she'll want to pursue. But it's given me a lot of really valuable things to consider. So my new goal, I admit to still feeling pretty squeamish about the idea of hunting, and I should say too, like I spent about 4 years being a vegetarian and about 1 year being a really strict vegan. And so, like, the fact that I'm saying things like this now, a few years later, is indicative of a lot of life changes. But I've been thinking about hunting, and I use animal parts in ritual. I really like taxidermy. I collect bones. I find that stuff fascinating. And I've always sort of wondered, like, and I've done things like pick up roadkill and harvest bones. I don't have the skill. I hardly even have the skill for that, right? But I definitely don't have the skill to harvest anything else. But that's something I'd like to learn, just because those have become kind of an integral part of my practice. And, you know, I do a lot of hiking and that sort of thing, and all of these things are related for me. So I've decided that even though right now I'm kind of squeamish about the idea of actually killing things myself, and I acknowledge the full extent, like that's a hypocritical position given that I'm a meat eater, but what have you, I think it's a position that I occupy with many, many other people. I've decided that what I'm going to do, I've asked a couple of the guys in the traditional group to teach me how to field dress. So hopefully I'll get to go with them, and all of them are really excited because this is like the heavy lifting, gross part of the job that a lot of hunters don't necessarily want to do. And anyways, so they were very enthusiastic to take me on as a neophyte. But I'm going to learn how to process bodies. So anyway, shooting a lot, practicing. I've already been to the range here in Huntsville, which was a lot of fun. They're real nice, mostly like Olympic-style shooters. So they've got all kinds of like sights and stabilizers and crap hanging off of their bows, and I don't use any of that stuff. But anyway, that's what I've been up to. So yeah. For those of you who've watched this far, are there things that you've tried or things that you've done in order to build on a relationship, like a spiritual practice, like build on a relationship with a god? Like, what have you experimented in order to establish those kinds of connections? I'm curious. So anyway, hope you guys are having a lovely day. I think it's Sunday, so happy Sunday, and I'll see you next time.